Hi everyone, this is Helena Kraus and welcome to another Hero Arts video. In this video, I will show you how to make these couple cards using the new Hero Arts Art Deco Thank You Kit. So here's the kit. It comes with 3 items. There is gold embossing powder, 4x6 clear stamp set, and 1 decorative edge die. And the good thing about these dies is that the bottom doesn't cut, so you can make your edge as long as you would like, or you can just use as a flap on your card that I will show you in the second card. For my first card, I'm using some black layering paper and I'm positioning that die to the edge, so I'm cutting this strip, decorative strip, and then I'm using a panel of black layering paper that's 4 by 5 1/4. So here, for this card, you will want to use just partial length of that border. So here I decided to keep it a little bit wider than the sentiment that I'll use, so I'm using my scissors to cut it out. And I just trimmed little pieces there to make sure that it's straight. And then I'll use this bigger bird. So before I continue, I'm using that piece and I'm using Versamark ink to ink it up, and then I'll just cover it in gold embossing powder. So here I have a little dish, a little container of embossing powder, which I find it easier when it comes to embossing, especially larger areas. So I'll heat set it using my heat tool. And then I'll go over it again with the Versamark ink pad. So this allows us to get a little bit more raised and dimensional image. So I'll heat set it one more time. So next I will stamp the sentiment onto the panel. So you will want to position first your border, the decorative edge border, where you want it to be. And then according to that, you will position your sentiment. Again, I'm using Versamark ink pad, making sure that that sentiment is straight. So I'm stamping it twice to make sure that there's even coverage. And then you will want to apply your embossing powder and then heat set it. So next I'll use some strong adhesive. Here I have adhesive in a little bottle with fine tip because it's very delicate die, very intricate. So I have a nice coverage, and the glue doesn't leak from the edges when I put it on my piece of layering paper. So I'm using a T ruler to make sure that it's straight. You can use any other straight edge for that, but I find the T ruler very convenient. So I place on top of it acrylic block, so it makes sure that when it dries straight. Next, I'm stamping the bird onto, again, black layering paper, and you will want to overstamp twice if you're not sure that it's stamped correctly the first time or fully. And then apply the gold embossing powder and heat set it. Next, you will cut out this bird. So by the magic of YouTube, I have it already cut out, and next I'm coloring it with some coloring pencils. You can use any coloring pencils you like, or any other coloring medium you have at home. But because it's black paper, black layering paper, I will recommend the pencils work the best, or if you have some opaque watercolors. So now I'm done, and then I will just adhere the bird. I'm using some dimensional dots onto the back of it. So I remove that, adhere that onto my panel. Next, I'm using fun foam to adhere that panel onto black folded note card. To finish off my card, I'm just using some blue rhinestones to add a little bit more interest. And with that, my first card is finished. Now let's move to the second card. Here we'll show you a different way to use this die. So I'm using 5.5 by 8.5 piece of snow layering paper, and I'm just cutting out those edges on the very end So I positioned the die opposite than the first time. So the edge, the decorative edge on the edge, and the open end is toward the center of my cardstock. I did the same for both sides, and now I'm trying to find the medium, and I'm scoring that middle part. I want it to be 4¼ inches, like a regular A2 note card. So I'm creating here a gatefold with those decorative borders. So here we have already folded that, and next I'm adding some post-it tape, or you can use any masking paper or any scrap paper using repositionable adhesive. Next I'm again applying some Versamark ink. I'm smashing the ink pad, making sure that it doesn't move. So on the back of my cardstock I don't get that embossing powder. Next, before removing that masking paper or post-it note tape, just heat set the embossing powder, and then you can remove it. Here I had a little piece that didn't melt. So here is that part. So for the next, the other side, I'm using a new piece of paper because I don't want any of the Versamark to get stuck on the bottom of that decorative edge. So I'm just applying again the gold embossing powder. After you're done, before removing that masking tape or post-it tape, heat set it, and then you can remove it. So here is my gatefold base. So next I'll use again snow layering paper to stamp the sentiment, and the other, I think this is a peacock, and I'll stamp them using Versamark ink, and again emboss them with gold embossing powder. So I kind of position the sentiment on the bottom, so when I cut it out it's nice and straight. So I'm applying that embossing powder and then just heat setting it. You can see how it becomes shiny. Next, by magic of YouTube, I've already cut, and I have here top folding pull note card that I'll adhere in the middle, and then I'll adhere the peacock and the sentiment on front. So I'm just using few coloring pencils to color that in. You can use any coloring medium of your choice. Because it's white paper here, you can use pretty much anything. But I decided to use coloring pencils, and then I'll just blend in the color, kind of smooth it out using some Gamsol. I'm just filling in the holes, making sure there's no white spaces here. I'm almost done here, and then I'm using some Gamsol and paper stump to blend in those colors. So I'm just filling out with more colored pencil and just making sure everything is nice and blended smoothly. So next, what I'll do, I'll adhere it onto the gatefold. So I'm just masking where that peacock should go, and I'm applying adhesive only on the area where I want to adhere it. To make the eye more prominent, I decided to use one of the little black pearls from Hero Arts. So next I'll do the sentiment, and I'll adhere the sentiment on the opposite side. So if you adhere the peacock on the left gatefold, you will adhere the sentiment on the right gatefold. And with that, my card is finished. So here's a little close-up of both cards. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to the Hero Arts blog and Hero Arts YouTube channel. See you soon in another video. Bye!